let me dial it back, let me dial it back, let me dial it back. Calm it down. This was so much fun. This was such a fun ride. I have everything scripted out. I did because I knew I was going to do this. I knew I was going to do this. I knew I was going to lose focus, being in my feelings, thinking about this book. So, okay, let me calm it down. Hello friends, welcome to the Leaf Sonata. This is my second taking because I got so emotional. Not emotional like in a sad way, but just excited. I got so excited sharing that I had to stop and then record this for those that have very little time to engage in a video today, but you want to know about the book Falling Through the Black by E.A. Hendryx, which I previously talked about in another video, and this is the sequel to Suspended in the Stars, which I read first and listened on audio and then found out that there would be a Kickstarter. So these are funded by Kickstarter. There would be a Kickstarter for Falling Through the Black on the very last day. So thankfully I was able to get my signed copy as well as lots of merch that you would see later in the video. But like I mentioned, for those that are short on time, I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet and probably within like 5 minutes. So Falling Through the Black. Sorry, I'm laughing because what I just recorded. Falling Through the Black picks up where Tally and Renner left off with Leef. Leef is a spy, and he is, you could say in a way, very closely related to King Praxis. If you have not read the first book, King Praxis is determined to basically make the galaxy of Exodus an empire, and he has killed the ruling family, the intermediate ruling family, one being his wife, who was a Graveless. And though there are abilities in this book, and when she passed away, of course there was mass panic. There was a rebellion called the Rising that took place, and it sent the other nobility grappling, and some into hiding because you know your fate against this king if you go against him. So that's where Tally comes in. She too is also a Graveless, which means her ability is to manipulate gravity. She's a fallen princess who's joined a circus, and it's a space opera. This one's a Western. That's more, I know they're almost the same, but this was very much a Western, very much Western, and this is space opera Western type of feel. So she meets a soldier, Renner, who has come to find her for the rebellion, and hopefully I'm not spoiling it too much for you. And they make their journeys through passages and find and meet up with Leef, who this book, Falling Through the Black, is his story. You get his backstory, which is jaw-dropping. It was jaw-dropping for me because I did not expect those twists. And he also has romantic interests. These books are sci-fi romantasy books that are written definitely for an adult audience. The dialogue is written in a mature way. There's nothing really immature about this book that would irk you and get on your nerves, but it is clean and it works. It works with it being clean and enemies to lovers, which doesn't always work or really have the true feel because there's so much secrecy. So with Leef, he is actually a spy, closely connected to the High Council and King Praxis, but he's a double spy. And in him being a double spy and helping Tally and Renner, he has been quested to find her sister, who you see here, Mare. And Mare does not have very much memory from before the rebellion, so to say. And she doesn't know who she is. And so when she meets Leaf, some things start to come back to her. They are straight up enemies. She's a thief. She's actually part of a band of thieves. It's found family. So there's a duo. Actually, I have to say multi points of view. I don't want to give too much away because it makes it fun, because it's some unexpected point of views, which you'll learn later in the video if you stay long enough, that some of it is given away in the cards. Oh my goodness, the cards that came with the Kickstarter. But you have multi point of view. It's not written YA-ish where it's very immature. The dialogue is really good. It makes sense for there to be so much angst and secrecy. And you are on different planets throughout the book. The world building is so good. And I'll talk about that further in the video. It's so good. I really just want to sit in the world building. There is diversity of disabilities and cultures. I can't say cultures. And what else did what really stood out? There's also a glossary, and I'll go ahead and show you that. I'll show you again later in the video. But there is a glossary in the back, as well as a map in the very beginning. Oh, another thing I wanted to mention is that the chapter pages, look at that. It's like you're in hyperdrive, and that's each chapter page. And I'll mention more about the author E.A. Hendryx later, the design of the cover, my experience with the Kickstarter. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. So if you are interested, oh, it's right at 6.5 minutes. If you are interested in a romantasy that's so much fun, space operas, so much fun, you should give this a try. Now, you're going to get the raw book review that I actually recorded before this, but for those of you that don't have a whole lot of time, I hope you enjoyed this. So if you want the real deal, it's about to start right now. I have everything scripted out. I did, because I knew I was going to do this. I knew I was going to do this. I knew I was going to lose focus, being in my feelings, thinking about this book. So, okay, let me calm it down, because that's how, when you finally find a really, really good book that's out of your comfort zone, because this is only the second of like sci-fi, fantasy, action feel, like a romantasy. It's so good. Now, that's not to say that there wasn't maybe one or two things that I didn't like about it. So I am going to share. It's not heavy criticism, but just some things that I would have liked to see in the book that I didn't. Oh my goodness. But there was so much that I did. So as I mentioned before, Falling Through the Black is a sequel to Suspended in the Stars, which I really enjoyed. It was my very first sci-fi fantasy, and I don't know if I mentioned it before, but I got back into reading 2 years ago, and I've mainly read classics like almost all my life. Oh my goodness, classics. And even with the classics, it wasn't very diverse, and I'm trying to diversify that now. So I thought, I love science fiction movies. Why not try science fiction? And I didn't realize how much fun a book like Star Wars and Star Trek would be, in no opposition to the movie. Like, that's how these read. They read like Star Wars, Star Trek. They are YA. I have to say that because I couldn't help myself. I recently picked up Mace Windu, The Glass Abyss. So it's a little different. Is it Stephen Barnes that wrote that? So I can tell the difference in like a little bit more mature science fiction writing as opposed to YA. But the way that these are written for YA work so well for just typical adult readers. Like, okay, now that's my opinion, but still. So I guess I have to start by explaining a little bit of Suspended in the Stars. And it's so hard not to give a lot away in the books. So in Suspended in the Stars, you have Tally. Tally is, I guess you could kind of, a fallen princess. She is an orphaned princess, and she's a part, and they're space operas. They're space operas, but this one is more like a Western. It's more like Western. So Tally is a part of a space circus, and her ability is a graveless. And like I mentioned, she's a fallen princess, so her, can't really say kingdom, the rulership that her family held was because they were graveless, and that's from within the whole galaxy. So we're not talking about countries, we're not talking about planets, we're talking about galaxy. And unfortunately, it was her uncle that betrayed her aunt that was in power, and so on and so on. I don't want to give away too much, but she's orphaned, and she's like 17, 18 years old. And there is a soldier or like special ops on a mission to find her. So that's, and she's hidden within this circus. So it's, the world building is so good. And I just don't want to give too much away, but like I mentioned before, no, I didn't say, these are high octane books. Like they go, 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 go. So when I read these, I can't just dilly dally around, pick it up and put it down. I have to designate like a weekend, like really like a Thursday to Sunday because of my other obligations. But you know, I need 3 good days to really get this finished. And they're just 400-page books, I think. 350 to 400-page books. So that's where we leave off with, don't want to give it away. We leave off with Tally and Renner. They received help from Leef. And we pick up with Leef's story. And Leef is a spy. And he's, how do you put it? And he has, I'm trying to get too much away because I'm trying to remember what's in the first one. But Leef is a spy, and he has a lot of pull in like the High Council with King Praxis. So leaving off Suspended in the Stars, Tally and Renner are part of the rebellion against King Praxis. Okay. How do I put this without giving too much away? So in Falling Through the Black, if you finish this one, oh, I hope I'm not spoiling too much for you guys. You pick up, because this is going to be a trilogy, so this is a sequel. You pick up with Tally's sister, Longclaw's sister, who Leef goes to find. Oh, I hope I'm not giving too much away, you guys. I'm so sorry if you have not read the first book, but it's so good. And it's so hard not to talk about the first. I hope I haven't spoiled too much for you guys. So you pick up with Leef in search of Merritt, the other fallen princess, but who has lost a lot of her memory. In this book, you found, just like the first one, found family. Tally's with the circus. Merritt is with a cave. A cave of thieves. So you have a spy. You have a princess who doesn't know she's a princess, and she's a thief. So there is a ton of secrecy. There's so much being held back, and that's what makes the enemies to lovers feel so much more realistic in these 2 books, is because the soldiers, the spies, the princesses, everyone has something to hide. And so you have to hold back. And you're used to holding back. And that's what made the romance work. That's why, even though you're going to have so much angst built up until finally they make the connection and allow themselves to be vulnerable, it works. Also, the writing. The writing is written maturely, and not meaning that it's not clean, because these are clean. Oh, but they're still steamy. You know, that's what I love about her books. There's still steam, there's still angst, there's still so much emotion. But they're clean. How she makes that work, I don't know. E.A. Hendryx is just a genius when it comes to that. I don't know if I've introduced the author, but E.A. Hendryx is the author. And let me tell you about her. She also is a graphic designer. I think that's the technical name. So her covers, she does these. And I did join Kickstarter to receive They're so beautiful. I did join Kickstarter to receive, and I don't think I remembered it was going to be a signed copy, but I couldn't wait on the hard copy. I really, because I'd recently read Suspended in the Stars, I wanted to pick back up as soon as I could with Falling Through the Back, but I'm a hardcover, hard copy girl. I've got to have one. So hopefully that's on the way very soon. I recently ordered it. But the designs are brilliant. So in the beginning of the book, so pretty. So pretty. The beginning of the book, you do have a map, which I love. I'm a very visual person. And the world, the writing. I've talked about the romantasy. But the writing, the world building. And, okay, so that's one complaint I have. It's so good. There's not, E.A. Hendryx, Emily, does not leave anything left to the imagination, which is an extremely good thing with me, because I want, as the writer, to put me there. I want to be right there. I want to see what's all around me, exactly the colors, the fabrics, the everything, the mountains, whatever, the desert. And this, forgot to say, this mainly takes place in space. They do go off world, and it is gorgeous. It's like, oh, I don't want to give too much away. They go off world, and the description is just beautiful. You're there. It has the same sort of feel, like I've mentioned Star Trek, Star Wars, but also a bit of Fifth Element. I think that's what the high octane vibe is with this, because it just goes, and there's twists, and the plot like thickens. This was such a fun ride. And here, I think half of the book takes place in Neba, and it's desert. And it's so hot. So in a way, I feel like this was released in November, and I live in Alabama, so it wasn't like super cold then, but I think I would have enjoyed this a little bit more had it been released in July. And my complaint is this. While she definitely puts me there in the scene, I want just a little bit more, of the world building, because the writing is so good. It's so descriptive that I just want to linger a little bit longer in those spaces before the action takes off again. Like I guess that's the literary part of me, wanting a little to bask in that moment a little bit more. But these books are high octane. So you get the scene, you get all of the scene. You get the blasters, the hollow blades, like the sparks that come off the hollow blades, the colors, like the dresses, the clothes, like the one suits, like I don't think they're called one suits. Space, it's like a space suit. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You get all of that. There's nothing left to the imagination as far as that, but I want more of the world. I want to see more of the animals. Like there was mention, I think, of 1 or 2 animals. I want more of that. I want, how do I put, I'm one of those people, like I've been to a lot of places and I've traveled, not worldwide, but I've traveled. And I never really feel like I've really visited unless I've been with the locals for a while. This book is so high octane. I don't get that sitting and feeling, but it's so good and so descriptive. I just want a little bit more, just a little bit more. It's not even concerning romance. The romance is just, it's so swoon worthy. I did not cry with this one, but I did share. I teared up in the first one. I want just a little bit more world building. It's not really the world building. I want to sit in the world a little bit, just a little bit longer. Oh, and on the space stations, just a little longer, because they're so beautiful. They're so beautiful, and it's written so well. I can see everything. Like there's nothing left to the imagination. Climbing or scaling the sides of buildings, there's nothing left to the imagination. It's so good. I just want to sit in a little bit longer. So anyways, I've rambled enough about that. That was that, and my other complaint, which is really not a big one. There is so much diversity unexpected diversity in this book as far as disability. So one disability that one of the, it's not a main character but side character that has a lot of involvement in the book, uses sign language. Another, y'all, we have, like, this is so good. I knew I was gonna go off script. We have more or less we have mods. I can't say cyborgs. We have mods. We have dots with personality, bots with personality named Dot. Oh my goodness, y'all! It's so good. But as far as characters, they're humanoid, very human. So that's where the turn takes a little bit different with Star Wars. Like, there are characters with abilities, but pretty much everyone is human. But being a person of color, I'm always looking for more color diversity, and there's not a lot of that. There is description of like dark hair, black lips, but not really as diversified descriptions as that I anticipated, especially with some of the characters on the other that are from other planets with other abilities. Like, I just didn't see any black people, you know. I wanted to see some black people, and I don't think that there are going to really be too many in the third one either, especially with the main characters. And, you know, I'm okay with that. You know, I get it. But, you know, when you're black, you gotta look for that in the book. I didn't see that. That's like, and it's not even a big deal because there's, like I said, there's so much diversity. It feels very inclusive, and I appreciated that. I loved this book. I think, like I said, half the time you do spend in Neba. There is a glossary. I knew I was going to go off script. I knew it because it's so good. There is a glossary in the back. If you guys could hang with me. And let's see. There's so much action in this book. It's not a very high stakes book. It's more of, I mean, it's written like high stakes, but realistically, you're not going to be left devastated. That's what I loved about it, because I don't think I could have handled it. But you won't be left devastated with characters that get harmed, hurt. You don't have to worry about that as much. And it's another thing with all this action, it's not gory, which I really appreciate. But of course, there's some violence. Like I mentioned, there's hollow blades, there are blasters, but the descriptions won't turn you off. They're more or less, when that's written, it saddens you to see the violence because it doesn't have to be. And that's, I love that too. That's another main point that's driven. Justice, of course, but the preservation of lives, how important life is. Like, there's some, that's the morality of this book, that there should be justice. People should be strong and stand up for what is right, but all lives matter. And I'm going to take a break from that. Oh my goodness. I'm going to have to pick up the script again. I just couldn't help it. I knew I was going to do this. But let me show you what came also with the Kickstarter. I think I mentioned that I signed up for the Kickstarter and actually made it the very last day that it was open. I was so grateful. But I didn't realize it would start with Kickstarter when I purchased the book. When I purchased Suspended in the Stars. So the Kickstarter closed for Falling Through the Black. I got on the very last day. What I did not expect to receive with it, yes, I have goodies, was I mentioned that I didn't realize that I was going to get a signed copy because, you know, I probably just read through it really fast and didn't realize it. But I didn't know that there were going to be extra goodies. And what I also didn't know when I got Falling Through the Black was how they sort of, in a way, explain the story. So if you're interested, these are the places that you can visit and go to find out more and purchase the books. Of course, I believe her website is on this as well. Yes, her Amazon store. So I mentioned that there are bots and there's a lot of high tech, and I believe this is right. Oh, how do I said I would put this in order so you would Oh, these are, after you read the book, the cards, oh, the bookmark. Everything just means so much more looking at the book cards and the sticker. Because you just didn't know. So first, like I mentioned, that I hope I'm saying technically what her occupation is. E.A. Hendryx created this absolutely gorgeous bookmark in its front and back. And what you and there is some alien language in the book, and I cannot pronounce the words. It's never a whole lot. Nothing takes away. But the bookmark says, "May the stars guide you," and it has it in the language from the book as well. And of course, it matches. Isn't that beautiful? I love this so much. I didn't expect to get a pen, which is such a big deal for me because I love pens, but I rarely buy them because, you know, I try to be frugal, but it's so beautiful. It says "Falling Through the Black," and it has the starship, and I believe this is Leaf Starship on it. It's so beautiful. And the reason that Leaf's Starship is so special is because, sorry y'all, I couldn't get it to focus. Ooh! The reason that Leaf Starship is so focused is because of the AI that he has installed in it named Mabel. And Mabel is awesome. She's, I guess you could say she's sentient, I guess. And so is, and you saw him on the card here, and so is Dot. I can't give away, but so is Dot. After you read the book, then you would know what a big deal this is. Oh, I love Dots. Oh, I love droids. But then she throws a wild card in. The soldier. So I'll probably insert this in the beginning because I think it's sort of a big deal with a lot of people. Her books are multi-point of view. Usually they're just dual point of views. There's a wild card thrown in, and it is the soldier, and we get the viewpoint of the soldier, whom I'm assuming, oh, it's so much I can't say, whom I am assuming will be the male main character in the third and final book of the Xurus. I always say Xurus, but I think it's Exurus. Exurus. Because it's Xerus Galaxy. I'm not quite sure. Ah, y'all. So, and the soldier, she got me. And now, like, all my questions, I had to flip back a few pages and get like, how did I miss this? How did I miss this? But now it's really, really, really easy to see. And I got it before I looked at the card again. But this is another big clue. So the planets that I mentioned before, that half the book takes place on Neba, and that's the planet that Meritola has been living on. Oh, you guys, it's so hard not to give a lot away, but it is the desert planet. Oh my goodness. It's a desert planet, and it's beautiful in its own right, but it can be really dangerous. And you can see here, one of the little creatures that's mentioned in the book right there. Oh, y'all. And then you have Trona, which a lot of action took place on Trona. I wasn't expecting, there's so much I can't say that I wasn't expecting, but you know, it's like a bustling port. I'll put it like that. It's a bustling port. And that's conveyed here. She did such a great job. Oh my goodness. And then Surlia, this is where Tally and Merritt are from. And it's a very opulent place. You can tell that just looking here. But there's one thing that I kind of anticipated seeing in this picture, but I don't. And when you finish the book, you'll know what I'm talking about. And one of the scenes is one of my favorite things, and I thought it would be in here. And then Renara, I believe, was mentioned in the first, well, it was mentioned a few times here, but I can't quite remember. I can't quite remember where it was mentioned in the book here. It goes so fast. And then you have, I get emotional thinking about it now. And then you have, I believe this is Leaf's spaceship, of course. Yeah, I believe this is Leaf's spaceship, which is so awesome. Mabel is so awesome. And on the back, this is the part that makes me emotional because this has such a deep meaning. You are not alone. Oh my goodness. And you won't know what that means. You will not know what that means for Leaf until like halfway through the book. Like, I keep saying like because it's my filler today, because there's so much I can't give. Oh, but these are lovely cards. And then finally, you have who the third book leads into. Is so much I can't say. Oh, and what I'm thinking, unless something was altered, I didn't think that the main character for the next book would look this way. That's all I can say about this. Is all I can say. So these are all the goodies that came with the Kickstarter, which I cherish so much. Oh, it just means so much more after you read the book. There were so many clues, so many clues. So I don't know if I'm going to post this because it's such an emotional bit. Oh my goodness. I just didn't expect to get into it that much. But that's the difference in when you actually have time. Because when I first picked it up, did I get it in October? No. Did I get it in October? I read a few chapters. Oh, and I love the chapters end with a cliffhanger. Like, is it every chapter? So good. But this goes so fast. I want it to read like a movie. You know, like I don't want it to stop. So once again, I highly recommend that when you start it when you have 2 to 4 good days to just go. It's so good. It's a whirlwind, and I enjoyed that so much. So much. Okay, so back to my notes. It's all over the place. Oh, I can't wait for the audiobook to come out because I really do want to hear it. I think I did cover everything, but just not in the category that I thought I would. Okay. The dialogue is really good in this book. Okay, I think I did hit everything. But what I'm going to do, for those that don't have a lot of time, I am going to say goodbye here. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you check it out. I know that Suspended in the Stars is on audiobook on Libro FX, and it's also available right now. Falling Through the Black is available in print only, as well as, well, all of them are available in ebook in some type of form. Go check those out. If you love sci-fi fantasy, you will really, really enjoy this book. It's great. It's so great. I had so much fun reading it. I didn't expect it to be, I mean, I had fun the first time, but I just didn't expect it to be this much fun. So, I'm going to sign off here. Stop. Tell you goodbye. And then go back and make a really short synopsis in the beginning. For those that don't like the long videos. But if you stay through to this end, you are a trooper. And I really appreciate you. And I hope you give this video a like if you enjoyed it and stayed this long. And I will see you again in the next video. Bye, you guys. Happy reading.